Wagwan, everyone. I hope you're doing well and welcome back to another stream, another Premier League preview. Yes, we are back. We missed it last week, guys, for illnesses and reasons, but apologies for the lateness. We're still having some technical issues on the background from Edmund's side. Apologies, people, and still not here, but you know what? If we all chip in together, let's hope Edmund comes in, people. I think he's here now. I think he's just jumped in the StreamYard. Hopefully, it's all going to be working fine. But hang on, I think he's here. Are you here, bro? Can you hear me?
I think so.
He's here, guys. Big up, everyone. Apologies for the lateness, but he's here. He's here. Yeah, look, you can see
him. No idea what's going on. I'm all flustered.
And it's not the sun. It's not the UK sun either today. But yeah, bro, how you doing anyway?
I'm all right. Better now I'm on. Better now it's all working. I don't know what the heck's been going on, but I'm here. Let's get on with it before it goes up again.
Exactly. Let's get on with it. Let me go to the chat first and big up everyone that's in here. Because we've got Peony Ween up in here saying, if I'm not here, I might as well. I might not be able to, but big up to yourself, Peony Ween. Nice to see you in here. Eagle Eye Football. Big up, Rich.
We're getting there.
Getting there. 376. Big up to Luca. I presume those 2 subscribers did come from Luca's channel. Big up to Luca. This is Luca's life. Go subscribe to him, people. I did a Southampton versus Arsenal preview there. So big up, Luca. It's been a pleasure chatting to you. Bobby's in the place. Saying big up, everyone. We got G Staffy herself. Big up to yourself, G Staffy. Graham's in here saying, let's get T to 400. Hope you're doing good, Graham. Big up to yourself, my bro. And yeah, he's putting in his thoughts for Arsenal there. We'll get into that. Santi's in the place. We got Santi again. He's on the double account. Big up to Santi, man, showing support. We got Moss in here too. He's got his predictions ready. And we got Mr. 200 himself. Paul, good evening to you as well, my bro. We got Chris in here saying big up. Hope you're keeping well, Chris. Hope you're feeling better. Josh in here too. And I think, is that everyone? Of course. We got Know-How coming in saying love to all. Wish I could be with you, but I'm watching Clifford the Big Red Dog.
I don't know what that is.
With the youngest. You've never watched Clifford the Big Red Dog?
No, never heard of it.
Wow. Guys, in a chat, we need to teach Ed. We need to teach him. You've never even seen Clifford? I can't believe that. That's madness. But
I've never even heard of it. And that Josh pointing out that was a big stream that day, right?
Yeah, it was, Josh. Massive. Gained a few subscribers on that too. Big up to everyone. And it's for your guys' support. That's the reason why. So big up to everyone. And yeah, we'll get into it. Let's get started and get your predictions ready, ladies and gents. But before we do that, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and don't forget to tell a friend, because we've got quite a few things. Is there any more admin issues? Not issues, but any more things to talk about? The FPL Cup, I'll let you talk.
FPL Cup starts next week. So this is the last week for you guys to get a team into the Fantasy Premier League. You might, even if you've not done one, you might be actually at an advantage, because you'll be able to pick players now that you're not stuck with Dennis, like I am from Watford, doing nothing, but can't seem to get rid of him. So basically what happens is anyone in the Tereak Talks League will be entered into the cup, and where we'll all play each other in basically like the FA Cup, but with Tereak Talks subscribers. Yep. You play someone different every week, drawn randomly until you get to the final 2 teams. So you play against each other week in week. So as I say, it doesn't really matter if your team is flying right now or if it's bottom of the league. It's all just about playing for something else. And there's going to be a giveaway for the final 2 teams as well.
Yeah, exactly, people. So even if you fell out of love with it, people fall off when they do FPL. Doesn't matter. Make sure you join. You actually have a bigger advantage, because you'll have more transfers to work with. You've got your wild cards and those things still to play.
I've still got all 9 though for those. So
there you go. It doesn't matter. So you can even create a new account if you want and still join and put yourself in the name. And if you win the cup, we will have 1st, 2nd, and 3rd prizes too. So make sure people will get in there and get playing. So let's get started. And the link to the league is in the description below. Just like everything else, go check it out, people. But we'll get started into the Premier League and FA Cup preview. So just in case you didn't know and you're new, we discuss the fixtures at hand. Drop your predictions in the comment section or in the live chat if you're watching now. But if you're watching afterwards, into the comment section, please. 3 points for the correct score, 1 point for the correct result. So yeah, and at the end, we'll go through the predictions table where we will see myself, Edmund, and you guys as the TTF, as Edmund works out the average for it. And yeah, and we'll see who wins at the end of the season. Forfeit for the loser.
It's very, very close at the minute. It's very, very close. There's 2 points between all three. So
exactly, and you'll get to see who's top, middle, who's top, second, and third. So yeah, very tight right there. Wish the title race was like that. I mean, the title race between the top two.
It's very good.
Yeah. But
we need that third team. We need that third team.
We do need that third team indeed. So let's get into it, people. And we'll start off with the first game. We'll start off with the FA Cup games with Manchester City versus Liverpool. FA Cup semi-final, Saturday, 3:30 kickoff, in fact. So, Ed, have you got the stats and figures for this one, my bro?
I have, yeah. So for the FA Cup games, I've just got sort of the last 5 games, meetings between these two teams. So we've got 3 draws and 2 wins for Manchester City in this game. It's a big one. Obviously, their last one was one of the best games of football I've seen in a very, very long time. And if we look at how the teams are doing not just in the league, in the last 5 games, Man City unbeaten in the last 5 with 3 wins and 2 draws. That does obviously include the phenomenal game, which we'll probably talk about against this team, Liverpool, last week. And Liverpool's is exactly the same form. There's not a lot between them in the league, and there's not a lot between them in the form tables either.
Mm-hmm. So let's get into it, Ed. Let's talk about that game, because I know you haven't spoken on it yet because you ain't been on the channel since. But so, what was your thoughts watching that game back?
It was an unbelievable game of football, wasn't it? It wasn't like football chess. It was just proper attacking football. The high line from Liverpool was intense. It felt like that was both their downfall and what was keeping them still in the game. It was an absolutely fantastic game of football. 2 managers that set out teams to win the game and to do well. The quality was unbelievable as well. I'm not getting into the hype of it being the best rivalry that's ever the Premier League's ever seen. Honestly, it's nowhere near. But in terms of the quality of the 2 teams, we've probably not seen any better from, position 1 to position 11. All of them are unbelievable top. There's no passengers in either of those teams. It was an incredible game of football.
Exactly that. And who do you think edged it? Who would you say was the better side, if there was one?
I think Man City were definitely the better team. I think they edged it probably, 60-40, I would even go as far as to say. But Liverpool's resilience to come back and to do what they did was unbelievable too. So I think it was, City edged it. City, they were at home as well, right? From memory. Yeah. So I think that would have helped as well. And I think just having a little bit more of the ball and Liverpool's consistency on that high line to not change it potentially could have been their downfall. But the fact that they didn't lose the game is huge. Huge. Mm-hmm.
That's it, and that's what you got to look at it when it is coming with these things. And then you also look at Manchester City, the chances that they did have, they didn't take them, which was unfortunate for them. They were much better in the first half, but then the second half, Liverpool started out fast. That goal from Mane, it's just, I echo those words about it being such a high quality game, one of the best games of the season. If we're talking
the chance at the end for Mahrez as well, chance at the end for Mahrez, he could have been. That could have been game, set and match, couldn't it? So the fact that he didn't still leaves that door open.
Exactly that. And that's what we have to look at, people, just in awe of these 2 sides and the spectacle they put out, which is why we watch football. But going into this game, do you think that game will have a factor, play into anything happening? Because I can see a question from Chris here, big up to yourself, saying, is De Bruyne injured? Pep Guardiola's come out and he said it's unsure whether De Bruyne or Walker will play. I will say for Walker, most likely not. I think he might play it by a week basis with Walker, but we may not even see him till the end of the season, until after this, not after the season, the end of the season. He might not play until into the new season because of the injury that he might have sustained. Who knows? We'll have to see that one. But with De Bruyne, it's still very unclear whether he'll play or not. They are massive injuries going into this one. Do you think that will play a part into it?
I mean, I think missing any two players of that quality is going to have an effect. I think you've got the KDB. I mean, the pass that he played for, was it the first goal? The second goal, sorry, was incredible.
With Mara's chance as well.
Yeah, and only probably Modric's ball from last week is probably better than that in all of football that we saw last week. So KDB missing is probably the bigger version, the bigger issue there. But to answer your first question, I don't know if the game last week is going to affect what's happening, because these two teams play this way all the time.
Yeah.
So I would probably argue that no, it won't. But that's only because these two managers are on their philosophy and they'll stick to it regardless. Pep, it's a one-off game. There is a chance for Pep to do what Pep does and get weird, pick something strange, pick a team of right backs or something. But he's incredible. It's going to be an incredible game, I'd imagine. We have to have a result as well, don't we, in that game? So
no draws.
Neutrals asking and praying for extra time and penalties and all the drama.
Exactly. We want that. That's what we want. We want to see goals like we have seen in the two games in the Premier League this season. 2-2 draws, nothing to split them. I do think City edged it in both of those games, by the way, even the one at Anfield. It's going to be Liverpool. Can they get their revenge? City lost in the semi-finals last season of the FA Cup. Both teams have still got trophies to fight for. Treble is on for City. Quadruple is on for Liverpool. But Ed, time for the predictions right now. I'm going to bring this back up on screen. Guys in the chat, before we go into our predictions, I want to see what you guys have been saying. If you're watching afterwards, make sure you get them in the comments below. And join the Discord server for all the chat, the banter, all of it will be flying around. I haven't been too active today in the Discord server, given, the busyness of today. Good Friday, had food. I had a stream on as well earlier. So, I was just getting this sorted and everything prepared. So, let's get into it, people. Josh saying 3-2 to Liverpool. Salah, I'm guessing, masterclass.
Salad masterclass. I like that.
Yeah, I do like it. He's been playing like salad at the room recent weeks, but
he has. It's the only reason I'm catching up in FPL is because everyone's still captaining him.
Like me, I'm still riding out. He'll come through.
Yeah,
he'll come through. Liverpool win this for me, so another Liverpool win with no KDB for City. 2-1 to Liverpool right there. Man City, yes, it is at Wembley, and just a quick thought on that actually. With they've sent their buses round because it is on a bank holiday. There's no trains running. What's your thoughts on that? Should they have moved the game?
Yes. People in London find it difficult to get to Wembley.
True.
So these two teams from the Northwest, there's no need. Well, the need for it to be in Wembley, we all know it's money, right? Money is the reason why it's there.
For Wembley, for the rebuild, rebuild of it.
So, no. I'm old-fashioned as well, obviously. I like my FA Cup semi-finals at,
Villa Park.
If they're two London teams, then have it at Wembley or, have it at the Emirates, have it at Tottenham's new ground. You could, but, it's silly. It's on a bank holiday. There's going to be reduced public transport. You can't really drive to Wembley. And like I said, I reckon the Palace lads, Eagle Eye and everyone, they're probably going to have a nightmare getting to Wembley. So the fact that these guys and girls are going to be travelling down from the Northwest, because both of these teams will have fans from all over, but predominantly both of these teams come from the big city, big two cities. So it's obviously money talks, and I think they've gone a little way to papering over the cracks by putting on the coaches and things, but it's a daft decision that money's being made over common sense.
And we see how money affects football a lot. Josh saying that for me, I think City need a player, not like Haaland, but a better version of Chris Wood, a big lad who can finish. I feel some people might think Haaland is that, with a bit more pace in behind. Big up Munzi in the place. Hope you keep him well.
Munzi.
Headers and everything. Are we doing a full-time result? Because I think it will go to penalties. So 2-2 for me. Yeah, you can do that. We'll do the full... Nah, we'll do... Yeah, you could do the full-time after extra time result. That's what we're going to do, people. After extra time. So if it's going to be 2-2, but who you decide to go for penalties, that's still, I guess, the outcome, isn't it? It's interesting. So yeah, 2-2. Bobby's going for there again. Josh, he's trying to sell the Newcastle.
Big Newcastle.
I know. 2-1 Liverpool, says Moss as well. So Liverpool in the chat.
Yeah, Liverpool's winning at the minute.
Oh, Manchester Mania, not this again. He's not being serious. Don't worry. Mania, please, like, he's on the wind up. I beg.
I'm sure he is. No,
Yeah.
That's got to be another one, right?
That's got to be. It's got to be. But big up to yourself, Mania. Oh, man. And then, Chris, of course, going to go for a Liverpool win by 3-1. And Mania says, I think it will go to penalties and Liverpool will win 5-4. Grealish misses his pen. So everybody's gone for Liverpool. Yeah. Big up Bargav as well. Big up to yourself, asking some brilliant questions in Lucas' stream earlier. Hope you're keeping well. So yeah, Bargav, chuck your predictions in the comments right now. Let me know your thoughts. 2-1 again, says John for this one. Do City's injuries give Liverpool an edge for the rest of the season? Hey, it's 2 big injuries and Pep Guardiola saying they're in big trouble. But when it was Arsenal, we're bottling it. So we'll have to see.
Well, I again, from a completely neutral point of view, I hope it causes some kind of a slip up, which means that we have a little bit of give and take, little cat and mouse. But it's a very good question, Bargav. Good to have you.
Exactly. Big up to yourself, Bargav. And 2-1 Liverpool, says Rich. He's telling Mania to stop. But
I'll do it and I'll leave if he asks another one.
Exactly. But I knew he was joking. Who's injured? Kyle Walker, Kevin De Bruyne, and we might see Ruben Dias return. So your predictions in the chat, even if you're watching afterwards, get them in. This is our predictions. We've gone different to you guys. Me and Ed agreeing in terms of the results, but the score's different. So Ed's gone for goals, man. I hope your prediction comes true as a watching it. Then yeah. But actually, I won't be watching it because I'll be watching Arsenal because they're kicking off. We kick off.
Really?
Yes, because this game kicks off at 3:30 and ours kicks off at 3. Why didn't they do it to the 5:30? It must be to do with bank holiday things.
Bank holiday and obviously the FA Cup and the Premier League run by 2 different people. So it'll be what the TV companies want, right? Too. Yeah. So let's not get on the high horse. I've already had a little whinge about it being all about money anyway. So let's not do that again.
But yeah, 2-1 to Arsenal, to Man City. I've said, and 3-2. So you're seeing goals in this one. How do you think it's going to play out?
I am. I think Bobby's question earlier, I went down the lines of what's the score going to be at the end of the game. So I went all the way down to extra time. I think it's going to be 2-2.
Yeah,
and Man City will be 3-2. But I will caveat all my predictions today in the fact that I did them quite quickly earlier, whilst also playing a game with Jacob, my 7-year-old. So I don't fully know what I've said and what I committed to. I didn't look at any of the stats. I didn't look at any of the injuries. So this could be the week that both Tereak Talks and the TTF overtake me because I don't know what I've said.
Fair enough. That's it. Fair enough. But guys, the reason I've gone for a 2-1 win, I'm going to say this now. This is big. I think Man City will do the treble this season. I think they're going to do it. Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League, and match the only English team to do it in United. So that's why I think they'll win this one. But if they lose tomorrow, that goes out the window and the quadruple is on for Liverpool. So if you're a United fan, I feel sorry for you because it's
either way, it's painful, right?
Exactly that. It's in the description, but if someone could drop that in the chat, please, if they could just copy it and chuck it into the chat, I'd be appreciated. Thanks for appreciated those people. We'd love to have you in, man. Oh, okay. So the link is probably out of date. It expires. Big up to yourself. Caden is in here as well. Hope you're keeping good. 3-1 Liverpool. Everyone's going Liverpool, so this is an easy one for Edmin. This one is easy. And in terms of that, I'm not going to do a watch along up on my channel. I'm going to do a match reaction to it though, because it's difficult to find these streams at 3 o'clock and stuff, and it's out of time in whack. So I thought it's just be better if I can watch the game, focus on that instead of focusing on like trying to find a stream and those things,
and being a few minutes behind and all that kind of other.
Exactly. So I'll be bringing a match reaction for that one after. And there we go. John, who's put it in again, saying 2-1 to Liverpool. Right there.
TTF have gone for 2-1. It's an outright winner at the minute.
Exactly. But if you've got different thoughts, if you're watching it afterwards, let us know in the comments. So we move on into the next semi-final. This one is on Easter Sunday. So, Ed, this one's big, a London rivalry, and we're talking about how difficult this will be for London fans of both of these clubs. They will probably find it not too easy to get there, given the public transport and those things. But yeah, this one's huge. We know we have a big Palace contingency, so hopefully these stats and records will favour them. But do they, Ed? Do they? We'll have to see.
No. Well, if we look at the last 5 meetings, it's 5 wins for Chelsea on the spin. But if we look at the form that they're in at the moment, we'll go with Chelsea first. The team drawn out as home. Their form, bit up and down, 3 wins and 2 losses in the last 5 games. And Palace is not too dissimilar, with 3 wins, a draw and a loss in there as well. So these are obviously 2 big teams, and Palace is who I want to win. That's where I would put my money. I'd like Palace to take something from one of the big boys. So they're who I'm rooting for this week. And the form, I'm hoping FA Cup game, the form can kind of go out the window in terms of the last 5 games between them. But obviously Chelsea are on the back of quite a hard loss in the week against Real Madrid. And then we've also got Palace sort of coming on the back of a win and a loss. So there's the form is a bit up and down for both of them.
Yes. So that's going to be interesting. And just to answer that question, no, I don't have one on the YouTube, but there is one on the Twitch if you watch through there. Yeah, but there isn't a way to set up one on YouTube. Yeah. And guys,
not yet anyway, right?
Not yet. Yeah, we need to get to over 1,000 subscribers until that can get opened. Guys in the chat, yeah, definitely. I'll try and get it in there as well at some point. But we've got the predictions coming in. But Ed, let's talk about this now, yeah, in terms of how you think how this game's going to pan out. But let me give you some injury news because there's some big ones. Romelu Lukaku, no, not really, but yeah, he's someone that could be fit to play. He definitely won't start. I don't think. Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Not that Werner's now scoring some goals, right?
True. Werner, Havertz, Mount, they're all scoring goals now. You are correct. But Crystal Palace, this is the one I'm talking about. We know that Conor Gallagher will not be able to play, as he will be ineligible to play against his parent club. But Tereak Mitchell and Michael Elise, touch and go.
Okay.
And this is important. If one of them is missing, that's huge because you're already missing Conor Gallagher. They're gonna need both of them they're gonna need them for me to give themselves a chance of going through. We know how important Tereak Mitchell is for Crystal Palace. They do not have a backup left back. They're having to put Nathaniel Klein out there. Joel Ward is having to cover in at right back. And I know, just talking to the Eagle-Eyed Football fan and crew, they're not too confident with Joel Ward's performances at the moment. And Tereak Mitchell, he's been arguably the best left back in the league this season, if we're talking it based on
most consistent, I think, all season.
And then Michael Elise, creativity-wise, assists, goals, just looking a threat. We've seen what he's done in big games too. Big up, Bobby. Thank you for chucking that in there. Really appreciate that. They're both fit. Mitchell will start, but I think Elise wouldn't. Okay, interesting. We'll have to see there. But also, how fit will Mitchell be? That's another
Mhm.
factor, you know what I mean? Because so if he was playing a Premier League game this weekend, would he be fit? It's a semi-final in the FA Cup. We've seen players turn up with one legs and those things. It's a huge occasion. So yeah, it's about actually being fit. He might be, and those things. So Ed, what's your thoughts of how the game's going to pan out? And then we'll get in your prediction.
I'm hoping that we see the Palace team. The biggest one for me, I think, is Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher makes them tick, doesn't he? The different things that he does, the kind of all-action centre midfielder that he is, that's going to be the biggest thing for me. I think that I'm doing this with you and the Eagle-Eyed football team. Like, I know more about Crystal Palace than I ever have in the other 30-odd years that I've been on this planet. So, yeah, I am hoping for them. And my prediction, Palace boys and girls, I am going your way, I believe. And I'm going with my heart rather than my head at the minute. But I'm hoping for an upset. It's the FA Cup. Palace can get to finals in their history. But I'm hoping that they're going to get one step further, one step closer. But, yeah.
There we go. And we'll get into your prediction afterwards. So, guys, you're hearing that? But let's go into your predictions first. Leave it on a little bit of a cliffhanger right there. Bargav saying Palace for the upset. Oof. And he also put in later, I'm expecting a hungover Chelsea after their disappointment, but they're probably going to be a lot more rejuvenated given their performance out at the Santiago Bernabeu in Madrid, but not just getting over the line because of a beautiful pass from Luka Modric finish, and then Vinicius Junior and Benzema putting, wrapping it up. But then the first leg, that was the issue for Chelsea. So yeah, that one there. In terms of predictions, Bobby's gone, sorry, Eagle-Eye Football. For me, this is 3-1 to Chelsea. And the sad thing is for Eagle-Eye Football and Crystal Palace fans, Bobby tends to be right because he said it about Spurs and Arsenal when we was all getting gassed up, and he said he still thinks Spurs will finish in the top 4. So yeah, Bobby's wise and tends to be right. But PM, on the other hand, has gone 3-1 to Palace. Patrick going to win the FA Cup in his first season. He won it plenty of times wearing the red and white of Arsenal. Big up to yourself, Brush, and big up to yourself, Sean. We've got Rich saying 2-1 Palace, of course. 2-1 Palace in extra time, says Moss. So we've got 2-1 Palace so far. But then Caden comes in with a
goals.
2.
Goals.
Goals, I'll take that, but you don't really tend to see them in these semi-final games. Well, actually, I remember seeing a 4-2 Chelsea against Spurs, but it's Spurs. 3-1 Chelsea, says Josh. So that's 2 3-1s, and yeah, we've had 2 3-1s, 2 2-1s. So Ed, these guys in the chat, you're going to have to differentiate.
It's going to be a maths nightmare. I'm going to be that meme soon with all the numbers going around.
Yeah, algebra and them things. 2-0 Palace. Interesting, people. But yeah, drop them in the comments if you can, Josh. If you're watching afterwards, into the comments, please. So it's easier just to all collate them and everything. But big up to everyone tuned in right now. In terms of predictions, I'm going to get it up right now. Crystal Palace fans, close your eyes when it looks to mine. Just only look at Ed's, because Ed's gone for a 2-1 Palace win. But you explained why you think it's going to happen. What is it with Chelsea? Do you think they're going to go back to a back 4, carry on to that, or play a back 5?
No, I think the back 4. I think they'll stick with that, and I think I'm kind of similar to what Bargav said earlier. I think I'm hoping, again with my heart, that there's going to be a little bit of a hangover from the disappointment of midweek. That doesn't really happen. Tuchel is a very good coach. Professional footballers are a lot better at getting over things than I am, because they have to for their job. So I would imagine it's not going to be as bad as that. But I am hoping, just like Moss's, I am hoping that there'll be some kind of love for the South London boys. And I'm hoping that it's a Palace win. I'm thinking almost exactly, I think what Moss has said. I'm thinking this is going to be 1-1 with the Palace.
Extra time.
Something in extra time. Something extra time. I'm hoping personally, because I love Joel Ward. Even though he's not playing very well, I'm hoping for some kind of salmon-like header. I don't even know if he goes forward for corners, but I'm going to say anything.
Yeah, wow, exactly that. And Luca, big up to yourself, saying 2-1 to Chelsea. Do you know what? Apologies. I'm gonna say sorry to the Crystal Palace faithful, but I don't want a forfeit. Okay, people, I need to win this league. Yeah, and this is genuinely how I think it's gonna play out. I think Chelsea will perform, take a bit of that rejuvenation into this game, and put Palace to the sword, unfortunately. And it just might be just that bit too much. It's a very young side as well. We have to remember this, people, with Crystal Palace. You are a young side, and this is a huge game with a lot of pressure. And dealing with those things, it's gonna be difficult. It's a new experience for a lot of these people. Chelsea are in a regular serial finalists at Wembley. They're there every season, it feels like, Chelsea. So they're going to be used to dealing with these occasions. Well, so I think that's why I'm edging Chelsea to beat Crystal Palace.
I think the only thing the devil advocate on the other side of that is that young Crystal Palace team, fearless potentially. They might just, well, why not? Let's go for it. Like you say, if Tereak Mitchell is 75% fit, if they can get 70 minutes out of him, and be closer to some kind of rearguard action towards the end, why not?
Yeah. It is Bargav. It really is. On Saturday, the Man City Liverpool one is a nightmare. It really is at the same time as the Premier League games. It's a joke, man. Like 5:30, please, man. So I could have done a double watch. I could have done.
See, they could have done a later one for this one because they are both at least coming from London. But
yeah, it's true. They could have done a later one. They could have pushed this one on Saturday. Man City Liverpool Sunday, same time, because this one is Sunday 4:30, I believe, and I don't think there isn't a Premier League game at that time. So yeah, it's a joke. We've got a new one. I will make sure to update that in the future. But this one here, I might just pin it in the comments actually when I go to it. But yeah, apologies, people. But yes, there we go. We'll move on into the Premier League games now. Tottenham versus Brighton and Hove Albion. This is the first game of the weekend. It's important for Spurs. They've got 8 cup finals left for them. This one here at not White Hart Lane, Tottenham Stadium. Big one for Tottenham. Brighton, off the back of a win in North London in their last game. Ed, what's the stats and records saying for this one? Because just off the top of the dome, you don't seem too great as an Arsenal fan.
No, I don't think it is. We're back, so this will be ticking along at the bottom of your screens, ladies and gents. So for the Premier League games, I do have the stats, the XG, etc., all set up. So for this game, Spurs are only lost one of the last 5 games against Brighton, with the XG at 1.69 for Spurs and 1.35. So as T said, as an Arsenal fan, for both top 4 hopes and for just general dislike of Spurs, it doesn't look great on the last 5 meetings. Spurs' form, the win-loss has kind of died a death now. It's now just win-win-win. They're on the back of 4 wins and 1 loss. And if we go to Palace fans, I apologise. I think I've said Brighton 3 or 4 times. So let's go to the Seagulls. Their form, they were in a terrible. Only Norwich, I think, were in a worse vein of form until the win last week against Arsenal. Sorry, T. So their last 5 meetings is last 5 games, 3 losses, a draw, and a win. So the form is all pushing Spurs' way, unfortunately, for you, T.
There we go. Yeah. Not great. Thanks for adding that bit at the end. But in terms of how this game's going to be played, Ed, it's going to be an interesting one because we're looking at that Spurs form, how they performed in recent weeks. Conte seems to be getting them on a roll. In terms of injury news, is there any big key ones? Matt Doherty's out for the rest of the season after he sustained a knee injury. He looked like, just in these recent weeks, he's getting into his best form in a Tottenham shirt. So it's a shame.
Back to playing wing back. That's why.
Yeah, he was playing wing back previously
under wing back under Conte. He was doing a bit of a Victor Moses, wasn't he? He was kind of getting a rebirth.
Yeah. And he's only and he started in these last few weeks or so to just really understand the Conte system. And Conte was playing him even when he wasn't performing so well. So it was you could see that he trusted him. Skip is out, Japhet Tanganga. But apart, this is what I'm saying. They're picking up injuries in an area where they're quite stacked in wing back positions. They've even got a centre back that they could play out in that wing back position right there. So they're getting quite fortunate with that. But with Spurs, I'm going to add this caveat, and this is probably to give myself and Arsenal fans a little bit of hope. These guys are still Spurs in a way. And when I say that, I'm not just saying it because it's Spurs. I'm saying this is the Premier League where, apart from Liverpool and Man City, no team can go on a run of games. And if they win every single game now until the end of the season, or go unbeaten, in fact, then fair play to Spurs. They've gone on a mad run at the end. Arsenal, we've gone on a run of games, but we always knew that there was a chance. It was a couple of injuries would have derailed and could really impact us. We've seen it at the start of the season, Manchester United, Everton game, and now we're seeing it crop up again. So with that in hand, do you still see Spurs going out and winning this one?
Brighton's performance last week, I think, surprised a lot of people, didn't it? Potter seems to have an ability to sort of get his team out of the mire and also get into the mire a little bit. So maybe he's still learning his trade. I think I've gone for a Spurs win. Again, I don't know what I picked. I can't remember. So I'm waiting for the thing to come up. So I think I went for, a tight 2-1 I think I went for. Brighton, I find it difficult to know who's going to score their goals. That's the thing for me. And Spurs recently under Conte seemed a little bit less bipolar. They seem to be a little bit more on it. And it does pain me because I want Arsenal to do well because, I want you to be happy with your football team. So I'm not overly a big fan of Tottenham in my footballing life. I've always think they're a bit of a fancy Dan team that wasn't sort of my cup of tea as a kid. But I see this being quite a tight game, but that's probably only because of how much I respect Potter. So, I probably could have gone for a 2-0, 3-0 like you have. I see Spurs winning this relatively comfortably.
Yeah. And when I say a 3-0 win for Spurs, I don't think it might not be a comfortable game for them. Neither was last week until they just got killers up front. That's what they have. Son, Kane, Kulusevski, that front three. On form, it's the best front three in the Premier League right now. Tottenham are in form, while Son is probably starting. Yeah, he is. Son is a very streaky footballer. He's not actually played well at the start throughout this season, but he's hit a patch, a purple patch, at the perfect time with Kane, Son, Kulusevski. I'm sorry, they'll always have a chance and they'll always have that advantage over their competitors because their team may not be there. They can't be playing free-flowing football, but those players, they're just killers. They're world class, especially in Kane and Son. And Kulusevski, at the age of 21, coming into the Premier League. Remember, the kid's the same age as Foden, people, and he's coming in here straight after after a difficult time at Juventus. Massimiliano Allegri not rating him, and he's coming in and proving them wrong, and he's showing a good mentality. But that's why I think they'll win 3-0. I'm not saying it's going to be a comfortable breeze in the park. No. I think they'll probably score a goal early on, similar to how they did against Aston Villa, and then Brighton will knock on the door. But as you said, they don't have no killers. No. They don't have a striker to put the chances away. But Moss has gone with a 1-1 draw in this one, probably hoping as well, saying Kane goal and Morpie. This pains me to say, but I have to go 2-1 Tottenham. So agreeing with Edmund right there. Caden saying Tottenham 3-0. So agreeing with me right here, Caden. 2 for Kane. Son scores 2, and 1 for Kane and 1 assist. Yeah, I can see that happening. Bargav, I can't see Brighton pulling it off 2 weeks straight, indeed. 1-1. So Chris agreeing with Moss there. My Moss will love you for that one. He does actually. And yeah, you mentioned that there. Luca agreeing with me, saying 3-0 Spurs, and so is Rich. So it looks like the TTF, are they edging a 3-0 Spurs?
3-0 so far. That's the one that's winning at the minute.
You're joining me there, TTF. So hey, we better get. I mean, if Brighton win, we're all okay. So yeah, but that's what we've gone for in that one. And then the next big the top four clash. I did do a preview on This Is Luca's live channel. Go check it out, people, if you want a bit more in depth into it. But Southampton versus Arsenal at St. Mary's. This game is massive for Arsenal. Of course, as you can imagine, people. Let me know your predictions in the chat. Get them ready. Ed's going to give you the stats and record for this one to help you with those predictions too. Yeah,
I think there's something interesting. So the last 5 meetings doesn't read well for Southampton. They've lost 3, which means Arsenal have won 3. They've won 1, and there's 1 draw in that time. But I think in the brackets, guys, you'll see the XG. So the average goals for this game is just under 3 at 2.8. So they are expecting goals in this game. But believe it or not, Southampton's XG is higher than Arsenal's. So 1.61 for Southampton, and Arsenal's is 1.47. I think that took a big nosedive last week in the performance against Brighton. And if we look at the individual forms for these two teams, we'll start with Arsenal, even though they're away. They've gone a little bit Spursy with their form. Win-loss, and then a couple of losses. It's not looking great in the last few games, but obviously there's a couple of wins in there. Why they couldn't have put in that performance against Wolves in the watch-along, I don't know. And for Southampton, though, something that Arsenal fans will be interested in is they have not won, I think, in 6 games. So there's another loss on the end of that last L there. So, and they're obviously on the back of an absolute drubbing last weekend. So it's the form guide would push you towards Arsenal, even though Arsenal are away. But obviously, I'm sure T will take you through the team news. And Arsenal is a very threadbare squad at the moment, I would say.
Yeah, threadbare by design, not just nature. But yeah, Southampton, they don't have any injury worries that they need to worry about, no fresh ones. And they actually get a return for Armando Broja, who has been one of their key players this season and their threats, the Chelsea loanee. Alexander Lacazette, he has missed training though. He missed, I think, a couple of days, actually, quite a few days within training, but he is expected to be ready and start. I think it's more personal issues than it is anything to do with injury or anything like that. And then apart from, Kieran Tierney, Partey, we had news on Partey that he might not return for the remainder of the season. It's not looking great for him. And this game comes too soon for Tomiyasu. So yeah, and me and Luke were talking about this in terms of Tomiyasu. We may not even see him for the rest of the season. Because he's been out for 3 months now. We'll be saying he's game by game, like he's not far from a return, but that recurring calf problem is caused him and us a lot of issues. But in terms of how I think the game is going to go, then I'd like to hear yours, Ed. It's not going to be pretty. Arsenal are going to create too many chances. I don't think. Southampton, they're a very energetic, intense side. Ralph Hasenhüttl gets them working. And with Ralph Hasenhüttl, they have been on the back of drubbings before and responded well.
Yeah.
So this isn't unfamiliar territory for Southampton. And this is what Hasenhüttl's a good manager. And he plays a certain style, which, for example, we'll get into this one, but we will when we talk about this team. But do you know, like how Burnley, how they set up? They don't usually set up to get battered. Whereas Southampton, if it doesn't click, it can go Pete-tong in that way. But it can also do them a lot of favours and help them take big scalps like we have seen. So this one, I'm not feeling great. Our form's bad. Their form's bad. And as though you kindly reminded us about Brighton's poor form heading into that game. So I'm not feeling confident. I will mention that. What about you, bro?
Yeah, I think that's a good point that I've not really thought about with Southampton. I think they are set up to play attacking football, so to speak. They're not there to set up shop in terms of not lose. That's probably something I've not really thought about. So I like that. I like that take. It's not something I've actually thought about. I again, without trying to spoil it, I've gone for an Arsenal win, I think, in this game. So I see that sort of Southampton, that we're potentially towards the end of the players are potentially on the beach season. We're starting that now.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Hassan Huzel's probably under the radar, probably one of the better managers in the Premier League. He's doing wonders with the Southampton team that has constant turnover of players. They have a very sort of short lifespan, don't they? The Southampton players that do well before they then move up to go to they level up and go to a better team. So my only concern, I guess, for Arsenal is that central midfield. Are we talking Sambi Lokonga in midfield again with Xhaka? Or
the way he was talking in his press conference, Ed, he was saying that Xhaka wasn't the problem against Brighton in terms of him being left back, and he also mentioned, look at the stats with Xhaka at left back. So he's insinuating that Xhaka's going to start at left back for me.
Okay, so who's in centre midfield?
Sambi Lokonga, and if he decides to play the 4-3-3, what we had was Lokonga at the base, Ødegaard to the right in the 8 position, and Smith Rowe onto the left in an 8 position. I don't think he should play that.
But doesn't jump out to me as the best of what you could get out of what you've got. But I'm still going with an Arsenal win. I don't think it's going to be comfortable. I think this could be a bit of an ugly game of football in terms of both teams are in slightly poor form. Arsenal's form's not overly poor, but obviously those losses you've got, I think, have shown that. I think I said on one of your streams a couple of weeks ago, there were some players on the Arsenal bench that I'd never heard of, and I tend to know the Arsenal youngsters because I always make sure I know a bit more about Arsenal than a normal Wolves fan would because of you. So I see some people sort of on the bench that, they're numbers that are really high up, but they're not players that I've heard of, and it's like,
and never even stepped on a pitch for the first team. So that just shows our squad depth, and that was in regards to the Palace game, and Palace's bench was better than ours.
Yeah.
So that's saying,
like you said, that's the design. That's the Arteta design as well. So there, you live by the sword and die by the sword. You keep that small squad.
You know about players.
That? Yeah. The new manager Bruno at Wolves is still ironing out those kinks that he took over from Nuno. So Tomiyasu, huge miss. Huge miss.
With Kieran Tierney being out even bigger, it's true. Southampton 1, Arsenal 2, says Chris. I'm loving the predictions you're getting in today, man. I hope you're right. I hope you are. 2-1 to Arsenal. Gabriel header and Gabby Martinelli won the goal, says Moss right there. So 2 Gabriel scoring. Angel Gabriel on the weekend of Easter. I know it's not. I know it's Christmas, but but 2-1 Arsenal. Rich loving it as well. I wish I was as nice to you. Right there. Pains me to say, but 1-1 says Bobby. 1-1 Brighton and Spurs says PM, and then Arsenal to win 2-0. Casey, big up Casey. 3-0 Spurs and 1-1 Arsenal. Let's have a look right there. Big up vibes in the place as well. And everyone who's jumping in on Twitch, you know what? We are more than welcome to jump in on Twitch. Got 2 people there right now. I still need to really get to grips with how Twitch works and how you need to really work with it. Hey, Jay.
It's been a few weeks.
Not big up Jay, though. Big up to yourself, man. He said big up my bro, CPFC. Somebody get this comment off my screen right now. I can't see this. Big up to yourself, though, man. But in terms of our predictions, I've not really gone any better. I've gone with a 2-0 Southampton win. I'm going to be honest. I think we're not going to create enough chances. We're going to have possession of the ball. And as you said, Tomiyasu missing, Kieran Tierney, 2 of our first choice fullbacks. I'm not going to be having a meltdown if this happens, because this is what I expect by design. Yeah. Because literally, if you took out, I know our fullbacks aren't as important, but they're still very important as Liverpool. But if you took out Trent and Robertson out of Liverpool side, what's going to happen? And this team's way more stat than we are, and they're better side. If you took João Cancelo and Kyle Walker out of Manchester City, what's going to happen? You take out Reece James and Ben Chilwell out of Chelsea, what's happened? So yeah, I do think that Southampton are going to win, unfortunately. 2-0. 1-0. We'll struggle to break them down. They'll get another on the counter attack. But Ed, he's gone with a 1-0 win to Arsenal.
I have.
I hope
You've turned into me. This is what I do with Wolves. I always say, "No, we're not doing anything. We're not doing anything." You try and tell me you can, and then we end up somewhere in the middle. I'm seeing Arsenal eking out a 1-0 win with some kind of, I do think I think Arsenal are just, they need this more than Southampton, and I think Southampton, there's a few players I think that are going to be sort of a little bit more feet up than Arsenal right now. And obviously, I can't ever back a James Ward-Prowse team just because of my rant from a couple of months ago, even though he's slowly proven me wrong.
Turning it on. Mm-hmm. Exactly. But to reverse good luck. I will gladly take me being wrong and Ed getting the points. Gladly, just so we can stay there. But I just genuinely see that at the moment, and it's going to be difficult. It is indeed. And the fact it's going to be close, Ed's predicted it. It's going to be, are we going to take our chance? We don't have killers. If we had a killer, I would be completely different, because even if we do concede goals, I could say we can outscore them and we can take the advantage, which will open them up. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Bargav saying, 2-0. Arsenal, Southampton are pitiful. Yeah, they are pitiful. And so were Everton when we lost to them 2-1. So it's one of those, man. Like, I'm expecting inconsistency and difficult moments to come. That's why I don't have a meltdown when we do lose. It's just hard. Tereak quit on us. That's okay. Tereak, I'm not happy with your. After Brighton. Okay, that makes sense. Apologies, man. Remember, you wear red tomorrow too. Because Moss, in terms of coordination, he's trying to work it out. Superstitious. Tereak, take that prediction away. That score is not going to happen. Trust me. Chris, I hope you're right. I hope you are, man. Early goal to Southampton and a comeback by the Arsenal, says All Scotch. Hope you're keeping good. So, I'm guessing you're saying a 2-1 win to Arsenal then?
Yeah, 2-1, it sounds like that.
So we'll get into the next game. We'll probably run through these a little bit more. We're nearly an hour in. Wow.
Yeah, we are.
I didn't realise. Big up to everyone who's locked in the place and stay. Apologies there, Jay. I did say the Seagulls. Manchester United versus Norwich in a game that's not really... there's outside chances for both teams in relative to what they're competing for, but it's going to be one of them ones. Ed, talk to me. Give us the stats and record for this.
Yeah, so we don't have any Norwich fans yet, but hopefully one day we will. But it doesn't look great for you guys with the last 5 meetings. Five wins on the bounce for Man United against Norwich. And Norwich, however, my darling team, they're the only reason I'm still doing slightly okay in the predictions league, because I was the only person to back them last week. So that's one of the few points I did pick up last week. So if we look at the XG as well, Norwich is awful, 0.83. They're not predicted to create a clear-cut chance. And Man United is the highest I've seen it for a very long time, despite the fact that they're in a real slump at the moment at 1.86. Man United is, I think, third highest of this week, behind, obviously, Liverpool and Man City. And if we look at the form of the teams, we'll start with Man United because they are at home at Old Trafford. Not great. 3 losses, a win and a draw in the last 5 games. And for Norwich, they are on the back of 2 games unbeaten with 3 losses. And obviously that big win last week, keeping them on a slight not even a puncher's chance at the minute of staying up, but an important win for Dean Smith and the Canaries last week.
There we go. Teemu Pukki scored the same amount of goals as Arsenal's top goal scorer, level with Saka and Emil Smith Rowe. That's it. That shows us our problems. But Teemu Pukki, he scored a good goal in that one. His touch. Can I just say, in terms of Teemu Pukki, what do you think? Do you think he's a Premier League striker? Because I do. I think he is. Because he's done it. Come on, think about it, bro. I know. I kind of knew what he was going to be thinking, but he's done it in 2 seasons he's been here. He's bagged the goals in the Championship. He's done the Mitrovic without, Mitrovic hasn't quite done the Premier League. And he's got that, that touch about him. He misses a few chances, but I think he's decent. What's your thoughts?
I think he's decent. I think the only thing I think that probably means he stays at Norwich is I think he's just a bit slow. I think there's a little slowness to his game that is why. I mean, it's a poor take, but there's a lot of penalties in some of his hauls.
Mm-hmm,
So, and I know strikers still have to take the penalties; they still have to score them.
I'm sure he wins a lot of the penalties as well.
Yeah, no, he does. He's a Premier League player, but not probably much higher than where he is with Norwich, sort of a team pushing for relegation. He's clearly too good for the Championship. He's an international forward for a team that does better than some of its parts. And he wouldn't get picked for either of those teams if he was a bad player. But I think he's there or thereabouts with the teams he's at. I don't think he'd be any more than a third or fourth choice striker for any team sort of aiming for 10th or higher.
Yeah, I hear that. Would you take Pukki at Arsenal? No, not for those reasons. Like, as Ed said, like he's not at that level. But I do think he can be a Premier League striker. Like when I say middle of the table, like probably 15th, those types of positions, I can keep them up. He can score the goals. He does.
It would be really interesting to see him at a team where more goal scoring chances are created.
Yeah, exactly that. And he scores quite a few goals when he does play for a Norwich at bottom of the table, and he's scoring goals. And when I say this, he's not. I know Charlie Austin was doing it when he was like scoring goals, but he's a much better technical footballer than Charlie Austin. That's why he's doing it at an international level. Finland overachieved. Finland at the Euros. So that's a big thing for Teemu Pukki. I know they beat Denmark, and there was a whole lot other things regarding that and surrounding that situation. But he's not bad, and Jay's not rating him right there. He's saying Pukki Zet, says Chris. Him and Broja. Broja's very on the other side. He's younger, and he's got more room to grow, and I still think he needs to have his game refined. But let's go into your predictions in the chat right now, and then we'll give ours. So we start off with Chris, who's saying 2-1 to Norwich. Hey, Norwich, not too bad. And let me tell you, actually, Man United 5 players will be missing. Fred is the latest absentee. Luke Shaw might not play again this season. Varane, McTominay, Edison, Cavani being out. So maybe that might play into your thoughts in terms of prediction. So it could happen. We've seen United have poor performances against relegation fodder at Old Trafford. But Bobby's not playing into that. He's saying 3-0 to Manchester United, agreeing with Mr. PM himself, Mr. 200. 3-1 to Man United, says Moss, Pukki, Ronnie Sancho, Bruno Fernandes. 1-0 Norwich, says Bargav. Hopefully, Josh Sargent, who we have right here, showing Jadon Sancho.
I need more hair to be Josh Sargent.
yeah, Josh Sargent's had a trim. That's what it is. So 3-0 United, says Jay. And in terms of our predictions, we've both gone for a Manchester United win. I've gone 3-1, agreeing with you, Moss. And no one in the chat's agreeing with you. So you're looking like you're on your own so far. In terms of
3-0's winning for the TTF. 3-0 outright. 3-0?
Yeah, true, because we've got Bobby and Mr. 200. So big up. And Jay's as well. Of course, Jay. Well, you've upset me. You see, I'm trying to, after the 9-0, you see. But 3-1. Can't move on. And who's going to score the goal for Norwich? Of course, it's going to be Teemu Pukki. Jay, we already have predicted them at the start. So, once it's over, have a go, have a look back. But if you want to get your predictions in for that game, make sure you chuck them in right now. Yeah, or in the comments, whichever you prefer. And Fred can't bang a hat-trick. You are right, indeed. So we'll move on into the next game, and because we'll have to give a little bit of time talking about this. West Ham United versus Burnley. Bro, hit us with the stats and record for this one, and then we'll talk about the big news coming out of that fixture today.
Yeah, so West Ham versus Burnley, we've got a battle of the Claret and Blues. West Ham against Burnley is a mixed bag, really. It couldn't be more down the middle. We have 2 wins, for both teams, and the last time they met, it was a draw. And if we look at the XG there, so West Ham's highest it's been for a good while, at 1.6, I think the Europa League game helped with that, and Burnley's at 0.94, so they've got the second worst behind Norwich in terms of expected goals. And if we look at the form of these two teams, if we go to Burnley's first, it's not great. They had that big win against Everton, and then they lost last week. And before then, 3 losses on the bounce. And then if we go to West Ham, we are, again, I don't have the Europa League win in there because I did this before then. So we've got the win realistically would be there. So it would be win, draw, loss, and a draw, and another win. So they would be only have lost 1 of the last 5 games. So the stats and the form definitely pushing towards West Ham, the home team, I believe.
Yeah, and just to address that one's not the Football Manager; it's a Speedway commentator who has passed away.
Okay.
So yeah, just to clarify there, because I got shot then, had to look, and yeah, but still, sad to hear, age 52. So that's sad. Rest in peace to Nigel Pearson right there. But in terms of West Ham now, Burnley, we've got to talk about it, bro. Sean Dyche, fellow Ginger as well. Talk to me, man. Talk to me.
It's a weird time.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Timing is weird. He would have been, I was talking to my dad earlier, he's surely was the longest serving manager at one club in the Premier League, was he?
Yeah.
Was
10 years. 10 years.
10 years. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's something I predicted last season before you did the Tereak Talks YouTube channel, that I thought he would go. But I didn't think he would be gone this season at this point. Mm-hmm. The timing is bizarre. It's the timing of football chairmen and football boards that...
It's Watford-esque. That's what it is.
Yeah. Who's going to come in now? I don't get it.
Ben Mee's coming in. That's what he is. He's helping with the assistants. The club captain.
Yeah, I don't... It seems like a very, very strange decision. I'm not a huge Sean Dyche fan. I think he's a little bit full of himself, considering he was a so-so manager. But I think he's a Burnley legend. There's a lot of people in Burnley that are going to be shocked by this, saddened by this. I don't quite know why it's now. It seems like they're just getting ready for the Championship. That's what it seems to me. Maybe getting rid of him now is cheaper than getting rid of him over the summer. I don't know. I don't understand the timing whatsoever.
Yeah, me neither. I don't understand. But Chris asked for it, so I'll try. What about Sean Dyche? Sean Dyche voice? Is that better? Is that all right?
Sounds like... Yeah, he always needs a locket or something, doesn't he? He needs some kind of
he just needs to do that. That's all he needs to do before he speaks. But nah, big up Sean Dyche, man. I know you guys maybe, Ed, you kind of know my thoughts. I do think that his football wasn't as bad as people make out.
No, it's not.
It's not Tony Pulis. It's not Sam Allardyce. You know what I'm saying? It's not Nuno. I'm joking. Nuno's not that bad. But yeah, Sean Dyche, it's not too bad. And you also got to remember the tools that he's working with. The players that he's working with. He's working with Championship players, literally, with the midfield. If you're looking at Ashley Westwood, relegation fodder when he was in the Premier League. I'm not saying that if he's a relegation side, but yeah, doesn't have the levels to improve. Jack Cork, then we got Josh Brownhill, etc. And what's he going to build with that midfield? But he still has, and he does play a very direct style, and he's still got the best out of the strikers and the players around him. So for me, Sean Dyche, top manager, and he's done a big job for Burnley. His ceiling, where could I see him going next? Definitely in the Premier League again. Maybe into, if Thomas Frank left Brentford, he could do something there because they play a direct style. I think he's going to have better players to work with, so he may play a similar game to Thomas Frank, and he can build up a side defensively. Yes, it's low block. Yes, it's counter-attacking football, but there's Italian managers at Spurs who play counter-attacking football, low block, and get blocks and stuff. So yeah, we gotta think about these things. And if Sean Dyche was, if he was, I don't know, Sean with a French pronunciation. Dichet, Sean Dichet, Sean Dichet, or something like that. People would rate him a little bit more. I do think there is that factor into it as well. So yeah, I don't think he's that bad. Nah, not you to it.
I can't do a Sean Dyche.
You want Ed to have a Sean Dyche voice? Come on, Ed. You give it. You're gonna give it to Chris.
I'll do it on Monday because I don't know what he sounds like. I can't do it off the top of my head. I'll do it on Monday. I promise.
Fair enough. I'm so gassed we didn't get Dyche when he was linked so much. I rate him, but not for Palace. Yeah, you're trying to progress from a counter-attacking style, though. I understand that, Jay. Like, counter-attacking style is good for the short term. And long term, if you want to try and build and try and progress and get up, then you're going to want something better than that. Even Chelsea, they want something better than that. That's why they're taking a different pathway and those things there. So, yeah, with predictions into this one, make sure you get them in the chat if you haven't done so already, people. Our predictions going into this one, I still think West Ham are going to win off of the high of the Europa League. Barcelona letting me down, by the way, because I said at the start, just when Barcelona got knocked into the Europa League, West Ham will play Barcelona and West Ham will win, but Barcelona only had to go and lose. But I've gone for a West Ham win. I do think the Sean Dyche sacking will have a bad detrimental impact. If Sean Dyche was there, I think maybe they could have won this one. What about you, Ed? Do you think they could have won it with Sean Dyche there at the helm?
I think they would have a better chance than without him. I think Bobby's putting where I think he's going to go. I think he's going to go back to Watford in the end of the season. I agree with that. And I think that might be another reason for why potentially he's gone now to get a little bit of time in before he takes over. So, they may have got a draw out of this. I think West Ham are playing good football. I think David Moyes is doing a very good job there. But I picked this without obviously knowing the Sean Dyche news because I did that before I found out about it. So, I went with a 1-0. Slight West Ham potentially with the European game in the middle of the week. That's why I probably didn't go for something more of a 2-0 or 3-0.
Maybe Everton, but
maybe we'll see.
Maybe to get Everton back up if they go down. Well, that would be ridiculous. Yeah, I don't think that would work out like that because it'd be Burnley overtaking them.
It'd be interesting I don't think Everton will go down, but also does that mean they'll keep hold of Frank because he seems to be splitting the fan base, doesn't he?
That's what Frank does. He even split the Chelsea fan base where he was a legend at. But we've got Moss saying 2-1 to the Hammers. Antonio Bowen and Vekor scoring. Agree with my scoreline there. Paul PM saying 2-0 wet spam right there. 1-1. Where there? Which one's that for? Not for that one. See, this is what Moss does. He gets two predictions in.
I think he's telling us about the Derby goal. I think.
Was it?
He's across Championship football, so
big up. Yeah, him and Bobby are both class at doing that, man. 2-1 as well to West Ham, and then Sean Dyche will go to Watford at the end of the season. And do you know Sean Dyche was actually at Watford?
Yeah.
He was a Watford manager.
This, right?
Yeah,
I think he played for them as well. I think.
Yes, he did. Incorrect, indeed. And Chris has gone for a mad scoreline right there, 7-2 to West Ham. So they'd literally be throwing the towel in if that happens. And he says, no joke. Indeed. Ed, did someone mention a double? Double what?
I don't know. It's because they've beaten us. I might go back, Jay. You might not have seen it yet, but I did pick a Palace win against Chelsea.
If he was going after me, I understand. Did someone mention getting dominated both games and a 3? I know. I see where you're coming from. Hey, if you say double as well, because Ed,
whatever.
Attack Edmund, that's what it is for people. He was a decent centre back.
Yeah, he was.
Sean Dyche was. And then we've got the penultimate game. We'll run through the next two quite quickly. Watford versus Brentford in this one. Still something to play for Watford, of course. Brentford, they look to be safe now. Ed, what's your thoughts and stats going into this one?
Yeah, so for this game, we've got Watford against Brentford. It's a very close run affair. A lot of these results in the last 5 were in the lower leagues. So we've got 2 wins for both teams and a draw right in the middle. Watford's XG not too dissimilar to Brentford's at 1.08. And Brentford's at 1.13. I think I say it every time we talk about Brentford. The XG has literally jumped up by 0.2 or 3 since Ericsson starting for these teams, for that team. And if we look at the individual stats for both teams in the last 5 games, Watford's form is not great. 1 win, separating 2 losses either side of that win. And for Brentford, on an upturn of form, which has kept them, I think, well and truly safe. They've won 4 out of the last 5. So
exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. Brentford, for me, the best run club in this country. I said the world, and I'll probably still go with it. Pound for pound, I'm talking about in terms of their rise, how they've come, how they've sold players, regenerated them, and just built players up who have been released off from their clubs as well, and their academies, and they're doing it without an academy, without producing like many of their own. So big up to Brentford, because they didn't see the point in having it. Because do you know why? Do you know why they got rid of the academy?
Yeah, they did the whole Moneyball thing, didn't they?
And they did do that. But the reason they got their academy, they said, what's the point when our best players keep getting poached off in Manchester City?
Yeah.
So we may as well, you know what I mean? So they were just like, nah, forget this. We'll take the investment away from there. Just have a B side and just keep playing. And play friendlies.
There was a big change, wasn't there? Because youth team had to be in a catchment area for a certain amount of players, didn't it? But then that changed.
Exactly.
So I'd imagine for Brentford as well, there's going to be a lot of teams in and around their area that are going to pick up the better players and go there rather than Brentford. You probably end up at Brentford if you don't do well at Arsenal, Spurs, etc.
Exactly that. Like Josh Da Silva, they took him up from Arsenal. He was one of them. So exactly. In terms of predictions, I've gone with the 2-1 win to Watford. I think they're going to have to, if they're going to give themselves even a fighter's chance of staying up. So they're going to have to grab the win there. They've not been impressive, as we've seen with their recent results. The only win coming up against Arsenal's opponents in Southampton, and Cucho, who is out as well for a long time, says Roy Hodgson. You've gone with the draw in this one.
I have.
And then people in the chat, Moss agreeing with you in terms of a draw, but he's gone 2-2. 2-1 Brentford, says Jay. Tony and Buemo to score, says Moss. And then Watford to win 2-1. Bobby agreeing with me there. But then Chris agreeing with Jay, saying that Brentford are going to win, but he goes 3-2. T, no trim yet. Nah, no trim. See, I need one, man. I need to put time aside to go get one. That's what it is. Brentford 2, Ericsson 2-0. Ericsson brace right there. And can't wait for the game tomorrow, says Chris, in terms of the Liverpool one. 2-2 and what Ed 1-1. Exactly that. So into the final game, and then we'll get into the prediction table. Newcastle versus Leicester. This one is, as I said, both sides don't really have anything to play for this one. Newcastle at home, still trying to impress on the Eddie Howe players, fighting for their futures, I guess. And Leicester, all eyes on the Europa Conference League for them. Isn't that right?
Yeah, so I think, like you said, there's going to be this one has potentially to either be a ridiculous game where all gloves are off and they just go for it, or both teams have nothing else to really play for. Leicester have got the Conference League to get a handle on. So if we look at the stats, doesn't read well for Newcastle fans. So Josh, if you watch this back later, maybe close your eyes at this point. You've only won 1 of the last 5, with Leicester winning 4 of them. There's not a lot between the teams in terms of XG. Newcastle's is 1.26 and Leicester's is 1.37. And if we look at the form for Newcastle, they are, of course, on the back of one of the worst games of football I think I've seen, with my own team being involved in it, of Wolves versus Newcastle a couple of Fridays ago, or last Friday, whenever it was.
That's how great it was.
Yeah, it was a dreadful game of football. If I wasn't a Wolves fan, I would not have been watching it at all. So they have got 2 wins, which is sandwiched between 3 losses. And if we look at Leicester's form, unbeaten in 5, with 2 wins, 2 draws, and then another win. And obviously they did win in midweek as well, which I don't think was in those stats when I did them.
Indeed, you are right. And then do you rate Kiernan Dewsbury Hall?
I mean, he sounds like a National Trust place, doesn't he?
He does, actually.
You're going to go to Dewsbury Hall. I rate him. He's in my FPL team, so I rate him.
Is he? Wow.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I think he's a good tidy footballer. I want to see where he plays best, what position suits him best. But yeah, I've got a soft spot for left-footed players, so that always helps. Left-footed players always look slightly better, don't they?
It's true from one left-footed player, exactly. So I do rate him. I do like his technical ability. He looks very neat and tidy on the ball, progresses it nicely, quite skillful as well, deceptive. He's got that, low center of gravity to his game. And yeah, he's had a rise in his career. He came through their academy. He was on loan at Luton, impressed there, and now he's doing it in the first team. And I think his best position is on a left of a 4-3-3 in that position there. Give him that box-to-box role in the half spaces. I do rate him. Give him one more season in the one more season to try and impress and build on that. Then we'll have to see what happens in terms of his Leicester career and if he'll move forward. But see, this one called me. You got me, Jay. Stop it. All right, he's coming. I'm telling you, Jay's coming up with a big chest.
How about hats on if you're in the top 6?
There we go. See, love it. Top, you're 7th, aren't you?
I haven't got a hat on. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, like that. I just like how you're
backing me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man.
Forget it, Jay. I'm with you now. Forget it. It's 9-0.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I've just thought. I didn't think. Apologies. But in terms of our predictions, I think that is our predictions. Yeah. Or did I write them in? I've gone with a 2-1 Newcastle win, and you've gone with a 1-0 Newcastle win. Yes, it is. Yes, that is our predictions. So I think Newcastle will edge it because of Leicester's.
True. We need to sound like we know what we're talking about. They were definitely our predictions.
Yeah, it's just that sometimes, with the last results and that, I just copy and paste the ones from the top ones and that. So I'm thinking, hang on, did I edit this one correctly? So yeah, I did. I did say 2-1 win to Newcastle because of Leicester's endeavours in Europe, and I think it would have taken a lot out of them. They may have enjoyed it, had a little, enjoy a nice time out in the Netherlands. So yeah, but Newcastle at home, they are decent side now, and Eddie Howe's got them playing decent football, so I think they will take it. And right there. And have you got anything to add on that, bro?
No, that was literally my reason. I think Newcastle at home, they're going to try and want to end the next few games at St James's on a bit of a high. They've come from the dead, really, haven't they? Everyone was writing them off before Christmas, before the takeover. And I think Leicester, all eyes are going to be on the Conference League right now.
Exactly.
They've got a lot of games in hand, but they can't really trouble the European places realistically without a real drop-off. So
yeah, exactly that. Because there is a bit of a gap. It's like, I think you're the next side that really can try and break in above if you can go have a run of results. But even you've got your injuries. What's happening with Neves? Sorry.
Neves is out potentially for most of the rest of the season.
See what I'm saying? Some big players. That international, was it the international break he picked it up in?
Yes, it was, yeah. But
that international break's a joke, man.
Yeah, there was no need for those friendlies. No need for those friendlies whatsoever.
I know Portugal wasn't friendlies.
That international break was the Nations League or whatever it was, and the playoffs and stuff. They all needed to happen, but I don't think we need those friendlies anymore. We have the Nations League for all those types of things. There's enough football being played.
It's ruined us. It's ruined our sides. But Bobby goes for 2-1 Leicester. 2-1 Leicester as well, says Jay. Chris saying a 4-2 Leicester, and Moss agreeing with me right there, saying a 2-1 Newcastle win. But PM says 3-2 Leicester. So TTF are going for a Leicester win there. Make sure you get yours, if you're watching afterwards, in the comments below, because we're going to need it. We're going to need you people. And there you go. And Discord, if they want to, in terms of that. Yeah, join the Discord. The Discord, the comments is better because it's easy to collate them whilst watching the video back and those things there, instead of switching from one to another. And also with the comments, it just helps push the channel out and help boosting in terms of algorithms. So yeah, that's why we also try and chuck it in the comments as well. People continue to show the amazing support that you've done. Daddy and the Don saying Newcastle 3 points, Leicester focus on Europe now. Exactly. And this is the predictions league. I'm going to take it off. I'm going to bring it on because this needs big talking, guys. If you're new watching, predictions table, winner gets a prize, loser gets a forfeit. If you guys win, is a multiple giveaway, and there will be multiple giveaways for you guys just to show all the support. And thank you. Sorry for all the support that you have shown this season. And then for the winner, if it's Ed, I have to buy him something. And if I'm the loser, there's a forfeit that you and Edmin need to decide. And you can do that in the Discord server. But this is the table. People, have a look at that. Edmin sitting on top with 115 points. TTF second with 114. And myself with 113 points. 2 points separating first to bottom. Me and Ed always go different results. So this table could be flipped. It could be. Look at that Moss TTF giveaway to one of us. Now, multiple, man. You get multiple giveaways just to show thank you for everything that you guys have done. So not just to yourself, Chris, you can be within a chance. Moss, etc. Jay, everyone that's watching now and everyone that's been involved and is a subscriber to the Tereak Talks channel. So yeah, thank you people for it. Ed, you got anything to say in terms of prediction table? Because
no, it's
keep on time, because if you don't,
I have thrown this away. I'm Newcastle in the mid-90s with Kevin Keegan. I'd love it if we beat them. I was sitting pretty about 3 or 4 preview shows away going, doesn't really matter if I don't do well this week. So what do I know?
And what about me? A little bit of West Brom, bottom of the table, Christmas relegation surviving, maybe.
Well, we'll see. If just to quickly touch on it, I think this week there's a few times where the TTF so far, obviously the predictions, Discord comments will be better, but we'll get them in where there's been a few that are similar, but in a lot of them they've gone different to both of us. So this could be a pivotal week. And obviously, last reminder, guys, if you FPL, as long as you're in the FPL league by the end of this game week, which I think is actually Thursday, links down the bottom. Get in that. Anyone else that plays FPL, get them in there. Make sure that you make sure that they're a subscriber to the channel as well. If they're a subscriber and in the FPL, they're in for the giveaway. Exactly, so make sure you do all that. And guys, tell people about the channel. Tereak had a big bump in the middle of the week with a Champions League game that sort of blew up. But we do these predictions. We're going to do another one on Monday. The bank holiday is helping. I'm getting a pass from TCM to do another one on Monday. Chris, just to say, I think T is in the Discord and we'll be after the stream as well. So
Indeed. Thank you to all of you. Thank you so much, Ed, for coming on. It's a pleasure. It's great to be chatting football with you again, even though you had technical difficulties.
I'm still having them. You're still jumping all the way around, so I don't quite know how this is happening.
You're good on my end. You are, you're all good, and you should be good from the YouTube end as well. So literally, bro, thank you so much. He will be back. This brother, this guy there, he will be back on Monday, and as we're going to go through the double game week side of this week, the double game week, and we got Liverpool versus Man United, Chelsea versus Arsenal. You don't want to miss it.
And we'll have the FA Cup semi-finals to talk about as well.
Exactly, people. Come on, let's go. Let's hit that link in the description below to join the Discord server, and the FPL code is in there. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Me and Edwin, we're out, and enjoy the rest of your Good Friday and your bank holiday weekend. Exactly. So enjoy it, people. Love to you all, and peace.